Alan and I both attended fan screenings of The Flash last night. A lot of people have seen it. I do want to mention that there was a little intro by the director, and apparently his sister is a producer on the project. So they introduced the film and mentioned very clearly, this is not the finished film. And it's very obvious at the end. Now, I'll say this, and we're going to mention this probably more than once. There are certain scenes where the CG is not great. I'm fairly certain, because I talked to other people who had seen earlier screenings of a cut of this film, that this is the same CG that was in earlier cuts. I believe that the CG that's in this cut is not going to be the CG that's in the final cut. So it's kind of hard to actually just say, I thought parts of the film had CG that was questionable. So put a pin in that for a minute.
We should also mention we didn't get credits.
Yes.
So the movie ended right at the end. And
the movie ended. The lights went on. We're not going to give spoilers for the third act or the ending, but I'll say this. The movie ended where you're about to see the reveal of someone very important to the DC universe. And you're about to see this person, and it's clear they're going to show who this person is. The movie just abruptly cuts to the director credit. And then the lights came on and there weren't any other credits. So this is, first of all, I think it's brilliant on the part of this promotion, because what it means is every single person who's a fan who went to see the screening is going to go see the movie again. Because there has to be some other post-credit scene.
Mm-hmm.
It appears that there'll be some other post, probably mid-end credit. Like, there's just, things are not 100. There are questions that I have. There are questions and things that aren't 100% resolved that could be easily resolved with a post-credit scene. And the fact that it cut off so abruptly means, oh, there's a lot more there. So everyone who went to these screenings last night, who were very fortunate enough to get in, I feel very lucky that I got in. They're all going to be back. They're all going to be back.
So let me ask you. So you don't know the identity of that person at the end?
I can tell you that an earlier cut of the movie revealed the identity, but that could be easily changed.
Yeah.
So I know who it is. I know who it is only because a person that I was with saw an earlier test screening of it. So I know exactly who the reveal is, except the way it's cut, you could put anybody in there.
Yeah. And it's not who you think it is.
Right.
I'll say that.
Right. All right.
But
let's
at the same time, they could completely change it. They could completely change it at the end. So
let's stop beating around the bush. Let's get right to it. First impressions, Alan, you go first.
I mentioned with Guardians of the Galaxy, that's the last good Marvel you're going to see for a very long time. This is the first good DC movie I've seen in a very long time. Probably not since Wonder Woman, the first one. I had a blast with this movie. Look, let's just be clear. I'm not a DC guy. I rarely collected DC comics. I know the movies, the early Christopher Reeves. So I have no vested stake in DC. But I love this movie. It's a multiverse movie, and they handled it well. They dealt with things that I don't like in science fiction, which is all this time travel crap, but it was well. And I'll just say it, Ezra Miller was very good in this movie, and he plays two roles, and the two Ezras, the two Barrys, seamless. Couldn't tell. It could have been two actors for all you knew. You mentioned the special effects. I didn't care about the low quality of special effects. It just gave it that kind of comic book feel to it, that kind of fantasy feel to it. And I'm glad it wasn't overly, they weren't trying to go for authenticity. But I will say the one thing that I noted at the end was it made me appreciate Man of Steel better than I did. And the ending is great, and I don't even want to spoil that for anyone. So I really love this movie. And I'm definitely going to see it again when it comes out.
Well, I'll just say this. I liked it less than you.
Okay.
I liked it less than you. And let me just say this. The Flash is the first Marvel movie made by DC. It's effectively takes a lot of the, Marvel tropes and things, the use of comedy. And I'll admit there's some very clever writing in this. We'll get into specifics. I'm just doing broad strokes, early reaction. But here's my impression of it. I liked it less than you, mainly because of Ezra Miller. Because of Ezra Miller. I found that, I think that Ezra Miller's Flash, I didn't mind in the Justice League. And in particular, the Zack Snyder's Justice League, that cut, because his role, Ezra Miller's role as the Flash in the Justice League, is comic relief. He's the comic relief. He's fine as a side character who doesn't get a lot of screen time. So that works. As the lead character in this movie, and not just the lead, there are two of them, he grated on me after a while. It got incredibly grating. It's like the character, the sort of original Barry, which is from the Zack Snyderverse that we meet, it's kind of annoying. And then you meet a different Barry, and he's incredibly annoying, really annoying. So you've got annoying and even more annoying. And you spend the first half of the movie with these two Barrys effectively. What changed was Michael Keaton as Batman. Michael Keaton as Batman. The audience went nuts. I went nuts. This is a Batman movie where the first hour you kind of got to get to Batman. It's the continuation of the Michael Keaton's Batman character, but he's much older. You see him, they don't give a specific age, but he's at least when we first meet him, kind of a bitter, I won't say bitter, but just like he's an old man who's sort of,
he's a recluse.
He's a recluse who's hung up the cape. He's done, and it takes Barry to convince him to come back into the fray and join the fight for what's coming. That's all I'll say. And what it ends up being is it ends up being sort of an alternate universe Justice League film is what it ends up becoming by the third act. And these, I'm talking, you've seen these scenes that are in the trailer, right? You've got two Flashes effectively. You've got Batman and you've got Supergirl. Okay. So when it gets to that, I have to say, I was just like, oh my God, am I the only one that's kind of cringing at these jokes? The Barry dynamic is just not, it wasn't working for me. They even do like, there's and this is, people have talked about this already, but there's a joke that in this universe, Eric Stoltz is Marty McFly in the Back to the Future films. Okay. So you've got in the Zack Snyder universe, you've got like, that was the Michael Keaton Back to the Future. And then you've got, Michael J. Fox Back to the Future. And then in the universe that he crosses into, which has a different Barry, things are just a little different. And you have an Eric Stoltz Back to the Future. It's played out in a scene that's kind of funny where you meet like Barry's college roommates, because there's an age difference in the two Barrys. I don't want to get too deeply into it. We'll give you a fair warning when we get into spoilers, but
yeah, let me respond to what you said.
Yeah,
I will admit the Barrys were annoying in the first half of the movie.
Yes,
Barry is kind of a Asperger's type deal, and then the other Barry is more of an annoying Gen Z. And but I will say, and I was starting to cringe at a lot of the comedy up front. But I will say, as it got into Batman and into the second half, I kind of let that go and just started going with the ride here. And they became, I think, less annoying in the second half than they did.
Yes, less annoying because they dialed the comedy down. Michael Keaton's Batman comes in and he's He kind of, I'm just like more interested in him. We see kind of like we see glimpses of what happened in between, from when we last saw Michael Keaton Batman to now. There's sort of a tease of like what happened to his life a little bit, just like clues, which is great. It builds a lore. I will say this is the much better multiverse movie. There have been attempts at multiverse films. Okay. DC made the better multiverse movie compared to Multiverse of Madness, heads and tails above that. It uses the concept in a much better way. You see kind of the way that the Flash breaks the barrier, his motivation. And I will admit the last half of the movie gets much more serious and in many ways tragic, to the point where I can't believe I actually got kind of emotional at the end. You probably know what scene I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know it's scene, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying that the first half of the movie, I'm just struggling, going like, am I the only one that just thinks this is just dumb? But I will say the opening scene of the film is basically a Justice League story that is pretty fun, and mainly also for the reasons that Ben Affleck's Batman is there, and he's dressed exactly like Frank Miller's Dark Knight. Like even the colors I'm talking about the Dark Knight Returns comic book by Frank Miller. Like, my God, like they matched the color to it, like just the level of detail. And there are a lot of little details like that.
There's a lot of fan service in this movie.
Yeah, but I didn't mind it. And I'm probably more of a DC guy than a Marvel guy. I kind of grew up watching the Adam West Batman. That got me into comics, then discovered Marvel. I mean, I don't know. It's like choosing between flavors of ice cream that you both like. I like them both. But I didn't like this movie as much as you did. I think
like the movie. Is that what you're saying?
What's that?
But you like the movie. You keep saying
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I had fun, but I had questions. And the thing is this, like, I feel like this movie made it difficult for James Gunn. I think James Gunn has some choices. I don't really know. And because we didn't really see the real end of the movie, we didn't see a crucial reveal. We didn't see any post-credit scenes. I have no idea how this resets things, if it does reset things, how things are going to be different. I honestly have no clue whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I think in that one press conference James Gunn did, the video one where
right.
I believe he mentioned that this closes the chapter, and not Aquaman. That this closes the DCEU. In terms of James Gunn, I'm in agreement. I tend to side with him. You've just got to cut bait and just start your thing, because I think it's just going to be too much trouble. There's so much baggage behind everyone except Henry Cavill that you just it just makes it easier just to cut bait and move on.
It's too many false starts, and it's a gutless studio. Basically, after Batman v Superman, the studio famously they got cold feet. They shot. I mean, Zack Snyder shot Justice League, but they just didn't want it to have that dark tone that we saw in Man of Steel,
or that like
Batman v Superman. That dark tone was not something that the studio was down with. So,
right, but also that was an old regime. There's a new regime at Warner Brothers, and that new regime is starting over with James Gunn.
I will say this, that based on the reaction that I saw in the theater, and based on, I think this movie is, regardless of the fact that I have so many problems with it, some are nitpicks, some are big, like the first half of the film being you're stuck with these two Barrys. It's two Ezra Millers for the first hour. I mean, I was just like, oh my God, please. And then the minute you get to Batman, it's like, oh, now we're going somewhere, and we can kind of see exactly where this is going. Yeah. And I will say that I thought the story was very clever, and I thought it's also heartfelt. The problem is, here is the big problem, is I feel like Ezra Miller as the Flash is a great side character. He's a sidekick. He's comic relief. He is not a lead. He's not a leading man. I mean, look, in a lot of other films he's done, he's been kind of a side character, right? I think he's fine as that. I just don't think, for me, he didn't carry the film. And it's really it's the first half for me.
Yeah, Michael Keaton was like the twig in between the two berries.
Oh my God. How long were you sitting on that joke, Alan?
I know.
Oh my God.
I wrote that months ago.
Oh my God. Anyways, yeah, Michael Keaton's on fire in this. And just kudos to the stunt person who was in the Batman costume. It's not Michael Keaton. We know that, right?
Yeah.
But just between like the tech and the toys, all those wonderful toys, it's great. And using today's technology, I didn't mind it. There's Batman's digital in a lot of the stuff, but also there's clearly a stunt person in that costume. You see Batman fighting Russians and doing just great Batman type of stuff, which is awesome. I really, and he's not infallible. He's a human. He gets injured. Batman gets injured horribly in this. He's not making it out, perfectly fine. So I like that aspect. I feel like the movie became more grounded once Michael Keaton Batman came into play. So
do you want to talk about Supergirl?
Let's talk about Supergirl. I thought she was fine. She didn't ruin the film. There is some information revealed which kind of explains why she is the way she is, why she's very angry and bitter. And a lot of this relates to Zod. And I thought she was fine. She didn't ruin the film. I thought it was a fine portrayal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with you. I
would
agree.
So what were your thoughts on her?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm reading some comments here. She's basically being butch, made purposely to look ugly. I don't know that I would agree with that at all.
No, there's a shot. In fact, this movie goes out of its way. There are two shots in the movie. No surprise, the beginning of the movie, there is a sort of it's a comedic thing, but it's kind of a fun Justice League adventure. The first 10, 15 minutes of the film is, the Flash, Batman, and Wonder Woman are trying to solve a problem. And because Superman is indisposed somewhere else dealing with an issue. And there is a very clear shot of Wonder Woman's ass that I just was kind of shocked. Like, her miniskirt kind of flips up for a second. And you're like, that is Gal Gadot's ass.
Yes.
No,
that's what Joss Whedon wanted all along.
Yeah. I mean, and then also there are a couple shots of Supergirl in this where she's very feminine to me. I don't think maybe butched her up because of the hair or whatever, but I thought she was fine. Yeah. Was she bad? No. Was she great? No, she was fine. She
served the purpose. She told the story, and she played the role she needed to play in this movie.
One thing that is very clear about the Flash is the director is an ass man. I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Now, can you confirm something for me? Barry has a girl that he kind of has a crush on, like a love interest.
Yeah, Iris. I forgot her last name.
In the film, Iris, kind of taken from the, it's also in the Flash CW television series.
Yeah, it was his main girl, love interest in the television show. Definitely.
Is that the same actress that was in Zack Snyder's Justice League?
Okay.
Kiersey Clemens. Is she in that? Because it looks like, this is going to sound awful for me to say, it looks like she just looks very different from how she looked in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Or is she just a proxy? Not sure. Oops. We're confirming facts here.
TV show. Well, Iris West. That's
Iris West is the character's name. It's Kiersey Clemens. Was Kiersey Clemens also in? Was she also in Zack Snyder's Justice League as well?
Yeah, unfortunately, IMDb took me to the TV series, but I'm there now. Let me check.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I don't see it. It looks like they recast that actress.
Yeah, I mean, on IMDb, she doesn't even have a picture.
Oh, no, wait.
IMDb.
She is. It's the same actress from Zack Snyder's Justice League. Confirmed. So there you are. I looked it up.
Okay.
She looks different. I had to look for a second, and I don't want to. I'm trying to put this politely. It seems like she went to college and got her like freshman 15. That's all I'm going to say, because she looks very different than how she looked in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I mean, this was shot later, but am I wrong?
Just when we try to get credibility on this show.
Right. No, she just looks different. It was distracting for a second because I'm sitting there. Is that the same actress that same character that he saved in Zack Snyder's Justice League? And I guess it is. It is the same actress.
Yes, it is the same actress.
Thank you, Ms. Piccoffee, for being here, helping us out. She informs me that a lot of people are asking if the movie's woke. Did you notice anything?
No. No, not really. I mean, to me, the key is, did it get lectury at all? Did it lecture us about being a man or being white? And I didn't see any of that.
There was really nothing like that at all. I don't believe that there was.
Even with Supergirl, nothing was ever brought up that would.
No, it was not like I'm a girl boss. Like, she's, it's yeah. There's nothing like that. Nothing overt. Here's what this movie is. It's focused on story. It's really focused on the story of Barry trying to figure out his father could potentially be released from prison. Can Barry change the timeline to save his mother? And if he does so, what are the consequences of doing that? That is what this is about. It's tied to his very character and how he's a hero. And I don't know if I'll say this. I'll say this. The mother story part of it. Well, there's a couple things about it that bugged me, but it kind of got me at the end. It kind of got me.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? Did you?
It was sweet, but no, I have a heart of steel.
Well, there you go. Well, it got me just.
I mean, I get what they were going for, and they were really trying to ramp it up, but yeah, I mean, it was a sweet moment that didn't feel forced at all. I'll say that.
It's just that you got to the first half of the movie is just, it just didn't really work for me because, as I said, I think Ezra Miller is a very good side character, comic relief character, making him the focus of the whole movie. Not only that, you have two Ezra Millers. It's just, once you introduce Batman and the movie becomes more serious because, and we're just repeating stuff that's in the trailer, because Zod comes to Earth. But Zod comes to Earth, and it's an Earth without metahumans. It's an Earth that basically has Michael Keaton Batman. So what do you do? How do you solve that? How do you then deal with going up against Zod, on an Earth without a Superman? How do you deal with it? Elliot Cecil for $4.99. Is Terry McGinnis teased, and is Zod the main villain or someone else? Terry McGinnis, what is that? I'm sorry, I don't exactly know. And yeah, Terry McGinnis is Batman Beyond, says Solomon Thornton.
Yeah, you're getting murdered right now.
Yeah, can I just say something? I don't care about Batman Beyond. I don't care about Batman Beyond. Is Bruce Wayne Batman? I don't care. So those of you that are fans of Batman Beyond, more power to you. Love it. I don't care. I don't care. I was never a Batman Beyond fan. I thought the I don't know, just didn't like it.
And you say you're a DC fan. Come on.
No, I'm just saying I'm an old school DC fan. So there you go. Old school DC. Once you start to get to like, it's the grandson of the cousin of the like, and then Superman's dog or Batmite. I don't just stick to the, all that stuff is BS. It's stuff that they made up in the 50s to pad comics. Then you got the Superman family and the Batman family. Then suddenly you have a Pennyworth TV series. No one gives a flying F about a Pennyworth TV series. Make a Batman TV show. This is what is losing audiences. This is why Marvel is more and more sort of losing favor. It's getting too complicated. The grandson of the cousin of so-and-so's dog. Although you could actually, Alan, your dog could actually be Crypto. You could throw like a little scarf on there, like a Superman scarf and a cape.
Oh. She has a Captain Marvel costume, by the way. But
well, there you go.
Yeah, but I'll say this. My daughter asked me the other day, we were talking about Robin, and she goes, well, which Robin are you talking about? And I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, like here. Yeah. Yeah, Dick Grayson is Robin.
Yeah, Dick Grayson. That's the only Robin I know. I don't care about the other
Dick Grayson. I mean, sure, yes, there are other Robins. Dick Grayson. Just do that. Just give me Dick. That's going to get clipped. To tell you a bit more about the story in the first half, Barry is distraught at that his father's imminent potential release based on new evidence that was found may or may not happen. He may not be able to reunite with his father who's been in prison this whole time. You see some flashbacks, and for some reason that doesn't make any sense, Barry's mom, who calls him Monkey, calls Barry Monkey and gives him monkey things, like a monkey stuffed animal and a monkey. He gets monkey things from his mom. His mom, for some reason, is Italian with a very thick Italian accent. And she's making a spaghetti. I just found it really distracting that his mother had like a very thick Italian accent.
Seriously, this is the thing that bothered you?
Yeah, because it was weird. Like, so Barry's dad marries the mom, who's got a thick and Italian. I'm a cooking of the chef of Boyardee. It was so. Am I wrong, Alan? You didn't find it distracting?
So what? I mean, this is the thing that you're getting hung up on.
I guarantee that some of the financiers or a producer involved in international financing had like an. I'm not saying the actress was cast because of some behind the scenes, like, please cast this person. But that kind of thing does happen a lot in this business. It happens a lot. Whenever you see.
So you're saving the spoiler section of this review to talk about the mother's Italian accent.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. But
right.
I'll get into so basically what I'm just going to tell a little bit up until we get to like the third act. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you then see is Barry concludes that it's possible for him to go back in time. He figures out how to do it. Basically, runs so fast, there's like a sphere, this orb that appears, and if he runs backwards, he goes back in time. So you see him kind of running backwards. He looks, I will say this, Ezra Miller, for a character that like runs, he runs like in a weird way. It's almost like he overemphasizes running weird. So once he figures out that he can run backwards, it's sort of this ethical question of, well, if I can go back and maybe potentially prevent my mother's death, should I do that, morally speaking? Right. And the idea is, he has a conversation with Bruce Wayne that could change things. It could be dangerous. I don't think you should do it, whatever. He does it. He gets a glimpse of other worlds, other multiverses. And the multiverse he goes to where his mother survived, he in a way, it's sort of like a different universe, but it's also a different universe, but in a way kind of time travel, because the version of Barry he meets is younger than he is. I think in this Barry is like 25.
Yeah, it's the point before he becomes Flash.
Right. So he's 25, and in the in the other Flash, the one with the kind of longer, goofier hair, he's a younger version of Barry who's 18 years old, just starting college. So not only are the Barrys from different universes, one experienced growing up with a mother who loved him and parents who loved him. One experienced the loss of not just his mother, but his father going to prison. That part is interesting, you know? But then he's got to deal with effectively, he's almost like the older brother. So this other Barry is kind of, he's incredibly stupid and annoying. He's like a stoner kid. He's like, it's like that other version is like on edibles all the time, has different hair, whatever. But this is, and so it's like, that's where the movie just gets kind of annoying, because you've got a Barry who has powers, a Barry who doesn't have powers. And he's trying to, he didn't sort of think about, well, I'll save my mom. Well, now he saved his mom, but now he's stuck with another version of him. What does he do? What does he do? Murder him? No, he's kind of stuck in this other universe that he came into maybe a little too quickly, so to speak, without his powers.
By the way, I don't want to, I hate to interrupt you, but I believe she was Spanish and not Italian.
Yeah, Spider Geronimo says, did they hire a Spanish actress to play Italian?
Yeah,
yes,
my impression is she was Spanish when
was she?
Yeah, she just happened like pasta.
It's just, yeah, she's like, oh, I'm making pie. It's just, it felt just really stereotypical, and it just seems weird. I didn't think the mom did a super great job. Yeah, so whatever. It didn't work for me.
I thought she was a likable mom. I'll just say, I thought she was a likable mom. You know, you can kind of tell why Barry loved her, and why it was so important to bring her back.
She's fine. Okay. It's fine. All right.
Just like Supergirl, she's fine.
She's fine. But then the issue becomes, one, how is this universe different? And what Barry's concern, because what happens is Zod comes to this Earth and everything kind of stops, right? And then you see that message that Zod sent out in Man of Steel. That message then appears. And then, oh my God, well, we've got to like find, he almost becomes like Bruce Wayne's role in Justice League. He has to kind of, Barry has to assemble the Justice League in this universe. And the only person he can find is effectively Batman. So it becomes, the second half of the movie becomes about assembling whatever version of the Justice League they can assemble to battle Zod. That's what the second half of the movie becomes about. And that's where there are problems. You know, Batman is long retired, a recluse. There is no Wonder Woman in this universe. There is no Aquaman. They can't find Superman, but they find a Russian base where there's a signal there where there may be Superman may be there. A Kryptonian may be at this base in Russia. So they basically, the two Barrys have to go to Russia along with Batman to break out Superman. Of course, things don't go as planned. And this is where I don't know how much deeper I want to go into spoilers.
Yeah, probably not much more deeper. I think.
I don't think I should go. I don't think I should go deeper. But because we're gonna talk a little bit about Little Mermaid. Well, let's go to some more comments here. But I'll just say this: I was entertained. The first hour of the movie is kind of insufferable with the two Ezras, and it's very much, this is a popcorn, crowd-pleasing movie that I think will do well. I missed the start. How was Super Androgynous Girl? She was great. She was fine.
She was fine.
Great.
She wasn't androgynous. Let's just put it that way.
And she wasn't, I'll say this. Yeah. Like, clearly, because there's almost like the director of this movie loves ass. You see Wonder Woman's ass. You see Supergirl's ass. Very prominently featured. The women in this movie are womanly. They're not like modern female Marvel characters. They're not like Nebula in Guardians 3. Okay. The women in this movie were pretty damn sexy. In particular, Wonder Woman. It's a brief shot, brief, so to speak. Wonder Woman at the beginning of the film, she's in it in kind of a cameo, and you see like her miniskirt kind of like, move up a little bit. And it's like, did we just see Wonder Woman's ass? Like it's not, it's
pretty
prominent.
Nice.
Yeah. Nicholas
no one
Varga.
has blue hair. No one has blue hair in this movie.
Yeah, no, yeah. And there's nothing that's overtly woke about it at all. I think the bottom line is we will get into more spoilers after the movie has opened. The other thing is Alan and I don't actually know this screening of the movie was, I'll repeat this because a lot of people weren't here at the beginning. The screening of the movie was introduced by the director. Okay. And it was introduced in a way, it's actually the director, and his name is Andre Muschietti. And it was introduced by, him and his sister, who was a producer on the film. And he basically said, this is not the finished movie. And what I was told by some people who saw the film in a much earlier test screening, that the CGI has not changed. And some of the CGI, I'm going to say, looks pretty not great. And you can guess there are a lot of cameos in this film from other DC film and TV properties. A lot that I think are really going to make people happy. And T-Rod, at least the movie isn't hot phobic. Says T-Rad Viz, who's a member. Yeah, the movie is not hot phobic. Like the women are women. And the men are men. Even like Michael Keaton, like, damn, I thought he was great.
You're in love, aren't you?
I thought he was great. Thought he was really good. So, but I think the bottom line, we'll get into more. We will get into spoilers when the film opens, but Alan and I technically haven't seen the finished film. Yeah. My guess is there's some special effects that are to be replaced. And the ending of the movie ended before a major reveal of a character. And that will actually set the course for what James Gunn DC Universe is. Obviously that was done on purpose. So there you go. Yeah. The Flash.
But I think we got
what?
I think we got pretty much what the movie's about.
Right. No,
things not there are any connected tissue with the rest of the DCEU.
Flawed, but also entertaining, mainly due to the script. Mm-hmm. I would say the hero of this film is the script more than anything. And then the director kind of working with what he had. So there you go. That's The Flash.